Good morning. We are going to stitch our little snack shop today. Trying to get this in the hoop stand. Okay. I didn't finish my water, in case you're wondering. I will get to it, I promise. But we are gonna do our little snack shop today. So let's grab our colors. Sorry, I'm pulling up the pattern real quick. Okay, so we've got light blue, so our 3766. First time we've used yellow. Got 444, and then white. And pink. First time we've used pink as well. 776. What other colors are on here? 898. And 420. Oh. And the gray. Oh my gosh. Every color. Not every color, but almost. Okay, so we've got our pile. We're gonna do a pile today. All right, so what we're gonna do is we are going to do some satin stitch first, and then we will do, so we'll satin stitch the blue, which is the main part, and then we'll do some other stitches around it to break that up. This is my blue from my water that I haven't completed yet. All right, so let's get our thread out. I'm gonna start with 4 strands of 3766. Pull those apart. Okay. Oh, got a little messy. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some options. You can satin stitch horizontal or vertical. So we did the horizontal satin stitch on our little med clinic. So if you want to try going vertical instead, you can. Totally up to you. I'm just gonna go horizontal. Let me show you why. Okay, so I'm gonna start on this side. And what I'm gonna do is stop at the door. And then I'm gonna come up on the other side of the door. Oops. Finish it here. Now, most times we would come back over here and do it the other way, but let's do a little thread saving way. And we're gonna come up here and go back across. The only problem with this is making sure that everything lines up. Making sure that these lines are parallel before I go down. The first ones are the most important ones, and then after that, they should be pretty good. So then we're gonna come down here and do our next row. Now you don't have to do it this way. I'm just trying to show you satin stitch another way, since we are doing kind of a lot of it, but I just want to show there's different variations to kind of do it differently, to save thread some ways, you know, to work it around blank spaces like this door, or to work it into different shapes like the umbrellas. Satin stitch is like super versatile. Oops. So depending on what you're working on. I mean, once we get closer to the middle, we'll have to just like go across, but for at least a little bit, we can save a little thread. Because they're far enough apart, it's not like pulling our fabric funny or anything. I think we can do like 1 or 2 more stitches. See, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable doing my next one the same way. So what I'm going to do is just finish this little section here. Like that. And then finish this section. Like that. Okay, then we're going to leave the middle open for our yellow. Oops. I want to make sure that this line is what we're working with here. I have a knot back here, hang on. Now for the boring part of just filling all of this in. Did anyone do anything fun this weekend? It was Father's Day in the US. So we did dinner with my parents. And a gift for my husband. When you're satin stitching around things, I feel like I kind of just kind of go where I feel like. The last of our kittens left yesterday, and our mama cat is sad today. I don't know if you can hear her walking around. All right. Yeah. Let's see. I think we are going to need to do one all the way across. Maybe two. Hold on, my needle's all twisted. Okay. One more across. And then we will stitch around that ice cream cone. It's easier, at least I think, to fill in the ice cream. So if, like, to satin stitch first and then do the ice cream, because the ice cream can kind of fill in, like when we're stitching the ice cream cone, we can kind of make the stitches fit versus having the satin stitches fit around what we've already stitched. I don't know. I'm gonna run out of thread here in a second. See if we can finish this little top part. Yeah, we can. Perfect. All right, let me get this tied off real quick. All right, a little bit more with the blue, and then we will move on. To another stitch. Oh, we still have the blue on the bottom, don't we? We're doing it in another stitch though, so we will keep our blue, but move on to learning something new. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough of this one either. to leave a little blank spot. Maybe not, we'll see. It's gonna be close. Oh yeah, it's gonna work just fine. Okay, there we go. Cute little building. All right, let me tie that off, and then we will work on the bottom part. Okay. So on the bottom part of our little building here, let me get another piece of thread because that one will not last long. I am going to use 4 strands still, since that's what we've been using. Smokey, go lay down. Go lay down. All right. Okay. So you've got 4 strands. We are going to do a split stitch. So it's similar to like a back stitch or satin stitch, but with an extra little stitch in the middle. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, you can make these stitches as long or as short as you want. I'm gonna go about there. And then when you come up and split this stitch that you just made anywhere in the front half of the stitch. And then we're gonna make another stitch, and it can be the same length or a different length, depending on what kind of look you're going for. So I generally just don't pay too super close of attention. Mine are usually about the same length, but I don't really try to make them super similar. And this, like the stem stitch, if you pull your thread backwards versus like pulling it this way, if you pull it this way, then it seems to sit a little bit smoother. And then we can just come, I usually go one way and then the other. So because we ended here, I'm just gonna come over here to start my new one. Now you could do this in another color if you wanted, or you could just satin stitch the whole thing. I usually, to make this look a little bit different, I usually go down where the last slit was, because then when I come up, it's offset a little bit. But this will just give it a little bit of texture. Once you get a few rows in, the first couple rows start to just look like it's the same thing, but, or really similar, like just a messy satin stitch. But once you get some rows in there, So you could also do it the other way and go down in your stitch. I'll show you on the this last row. But I don't feel like it makes as clean of a transition. So instead of coming up in your stitch, if you do a back stitch, then you can go down in your stitch rather than coming up in it. But I feel like it's a little bit, I don't know the word. It's not as clean. It's like a little bit chunkier. So if that's a look you're going for, you can totally go for it. But do you see how you can kind of see those a little bit more than like the row above it? So depending on the look you're going for, go up in your stitch or down in your stitch. Hold on, I got another knot. A big one. There we go. That's fun. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing with the yellow. We're gonna do a split stitch across there, and then we'll do a different stitch for this roof line. So let me tie off this piece back here, and we will get our yellow out. How bright this yellow is. I'm excited. I don't use like bright yellow very often. It's usually like a muted, oh, I said bright orange, but I meant bright yellow. I feel like I always use like a muted yellow color. Oh man, I got a knot. These are always, I always think, okay, is it worth it to try and undo the knot, or do I just cut my losses? I think we're gonna cut our losses today. So I just cut that knot off, and then I'm gotta throw away this piece. Because you know what? Sometimes it's just not worth it to fight the thread. Okay. So I'm still using 4 strands like I was before, just with my yellow, which is 4, 4, 4. And I'm just gonna come across here and do a split stitch. These ones I'm doing just a little bit smaller since the space is a little bit smaller. Smooth that out a little bit. All right, so in these small spaces, when I'm doing a split stitch, I usually do a few satin stitches in there. So I'm just gonna do this one all the way across, and then this one I will do a split stitch. So I'm gonna go like most of the way over, and then I'll split it. So it kind of keeps with that texture. And then I'll do another straight stitch. One more. And then we'll do the same thing over here and do some just straight stitches and some split stitches. I'm just gonna do two. See if we need to do one more. Yeah. I'm just gonna do one more satin stitch there. And then we'll do one more little space over here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That's all right. I went all the way across and then I split it, which you could also do. How do we feel about a split stitch? It's not one I use super often, but I do like it when I'm trying to add a little bit of texture to something. I like it for like stucco when I'm working on houses. Kind of gives just that little pop of texture without being like too in your face, like some stitches that we do are a lot more like in your face. Okay, that's fun. All right, let's tie that off. We're done with yellow for a minute. All right, let's do our ice cream cone next. Okay, so I've got my 420. Now, if this was a bigger ice cream cone, I'd probably do a basket weave for it, but it's not big. So let's Just keep it simple. So I'm gonna do 4 strands just because that's what we've already been doing. Let's just keep it simple. I'm gonna start up in this corner. Go into the bottom of this. Do the same thing over here. And then we will just fill in this space. Now you're not gonna be able to get every stitch down into the center. So I usually kind of sneak my needle in there and it's kind of going down like right there, but it's like under those stitches, so it's covered up. So it almost looks like it's to the point, but it's not quite there. And these ones I'll do on top. Put them down in that center. Okay. That is it for the ice cream cone. Well, for the cone, and then we'll do the ice cream. All right, we've got our 776. And keep with the 4 strands all day. Okay. So I'm just getting that tied off. I'm going to do a stem stitch so that we can keep this nice and rounded. So I'm going to start at the bottom of this like rounded section and just go up a little bit. Keep our little loop out to the edge. We've done this stitch a couple of times. And then pull it snug. We want to keep our loop to the outer edge. Oh, that didn't pull very snug, did it? And I've pulled my tail through. I'll fix that at the end. So there's our first row. And then I'm just gonna come back and do a second row. So it's like we're doing like a rainbow. we can fit one or maybe two. Probably just one. Now my stem stitches are getting smaller as the arches get smaller. I'm just gonna come in here and just do one stitch across the bottom of that to kind of fill it in just a little bit. And then I'm gonna do some little French knots. So I'm gonna come up kind of in the middle of where I want it. I'm gonna wrap this 3 times, I think. Yeah, I like it 3 times. And just work our way across doing that. Now, if you're unsure how to do French knots, watch the first part of the video from day 5. I went over all the tips and tricks. You could also do colonial knots here if you wanted. You don't have to do French knots if you are liking colonial knots better. I want this one a little bit smaller. I did 2 wraps on it. All right, we've got our little ice cream. See if I can get that tail pulled out. Okay. Tie off your pink. We've got another color. All right, let's do the door next. Actually, what time is it? 9:40. Let's not. You can do the door either satin stitched, I would do it vertical, or a split stitch, and I would keep it vertical. Pick whichever one you want to practice and do that, and then you can do a little French knot doorknob with the same brown. Let's do our windows. We're just going to outline them. We are liking 4 strands today. So for the door, you could also mix colors, like do 2 strands of the 898 and 2 strands of the 420 and kind of give it more of like a wood look. If you're gonna split, if you're gonna do 2 colors, I would do like 2 strands of each or 3 of one and 1 of another. And I'd probably do a split stitch. All right, so I'm gonna start on this edge and I'm just gonna outline this. So I'm gonna do all my vertical lines first. So I'm gonna go the side, the middle, and then the other side. I'm gonna come back down to the bottom and go all the way across. Come back up to the top. And just outline that door. And then I'm gonna come, I'm gonna cover this up. So I'm gonna come down a little bit further and then I can cover it up. I forgot about the roof line. Okay. All right, so now we've just got our flag and our roof line. So for your roof, I'm going to tell you to do the same thing as the door. Just kind of decide what stitch you want to use. You could go back and do the brick stitch like we did here, but do it with white. You could do the split stitch and just work in that. Or you could do satin stitch and just do it straight. I would do it straight into the top and then straight this way. So you have 2 angles. What time is it? 9:43. I kind of like that I think I'm going to do a split stitch because we've got split stitch at the bottom, the middle, and then I like that I like the idea of like finishing it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that off camera since we're at about 45 minutes now. So let me know if you have questions, and I will post mine when it's finished. I will for sure finish it today, unlike my water that I did not finish over the weekend. So get that done. Let me know if you have questions, and I will see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be in the evening, so you have plenty of time to work today and most of tomorrow on this part. So see you tomorrow. Bye.